Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast with Mike Kincaid and Jake Goebel. Join them as they experience specialty coffee and document their journey. These friends explore roasts and roasting methods, brewing equipment and techniques, and review the cafes they visit along the way.
Thanks, Brioni, and thank you for joining us for episode 115 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. I let Mike talk about roasting, he vents about filters, and we talk a little bit about his life with the Flair, that at-home espresso maker that he is just absolutely loving. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. This is episode 115. I am Jake Goebel, and with me is the legendary Mike Kincaid. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Jake. Thanks for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate being a guest on your show every week.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Couldn't do it without you. And probably wouldn't do it without you. So there's that. There's that. We've got not a whole lot going today. But I guess we've got some things on the table. There's some stuff to talk about. Okay, let me try that again. We have got a great show lined up for you today. A ton of planning went into this one. Not only can you listen to this on the podcast, you can also see what we are doing on our YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, go over there, like, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever it is. No, I don't want you to ring the bell. Ring the bell is giving up and quitting, right? I mean, in
you
Buds,
need to ring the bell.
But Navy SEALs, during Buds, they have a bell that they can go ring. And as soon as you ring the bell, you're done. You can go home. You can stop.
Just ring the bell.
Just ring the bell and you're done.
The bell.
So that's why I don't want to tell people to ring the bell, because I feel like I'm telling them to give up.
If they don't ring the bell,
yeah,
they won't be notified when another one of our sweet videos is published.
Click the bell.
Yeah.
Click it. Don't ring it.
The bell.
Don't ring the bell, because that means you're tapped out, given up. Ring the bell. No. Click the bell. That means that you will get notified when we have new videos that drop. And what we try to do is have videos for our podcast and our brew and review. Mm-hmm. I would like to do video of the Daily Ristretto, but I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I think that just needs to be like a live recorded version.
Like Facebook Live? And
just put it out there live.
Yeah, I don't know what to do there. I don't know, but I'd like to. We'll figure something out there.
Well, another advantage of the bell is you'll be notified, and then you can let me know when the video cuts off after 6 minutes.
That was really nice. So today you had a video go out. Yeah, brew and review.
We published
4,
the brew and review
5. I can't remember which one it was.
Those I am able to coincide with at the same time when the podcast goes out, because it's Friday, gives us more time to work with.
A little more time.
So we're already scheduled.
Yes.
Thought we were good.
You got great pictures. It was a great picture that you put up there. Great video, I'm sure. I don't watch the videos, but I'm sure they're great.
No, they're not bad. It's just us. It's the same thing. But anyway, for some reason, there was a rendering issue, and I always do a little QA, a little quality assurance check on the video.
Yeah.
Make sure it looks good, but I don't watch it.
The whole thing.
Yeah. I'm not that vain.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Yes, I know.
You just have too much.
Just make sure the lighting on me is good to go.
And then you're good.
I'm cool. With that. But for some reason, after the 6:30-second mark, it just died. It cut off. And come to find out, after some troubleshooting, it was because the external hard drive I was exporting to is full.
Surprise.
So 6 minutes was all that it could offer up, and it said, I'll do my best.
Out of 40?
And I will, 39 minutes.
39 minutes. So 33 of it was lost.
So it said, you know what? I'll give you what I got. I'm not going to tell you. Go ahead and do your thing with it. Good luck.
And we'll talk in the morning.
Away you go. So,
and then somebody watched it. Who was it that watched it?
So at 6 in the morning, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike the Blue Cow?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
He hit us up both on the video and Instagram. He's like, hey, if you don't check the video out, I'm letting you know on Instagram too. It cuts off.
By the way, your video cut off at 6 minutes. So.
You done screwed it up.
You done messed it all up. All right. Let me tell you something we didn't mess up. Let me tell you somebody who does not mess things up. That's the coffee legend, Tim Wendelboe. No, I mess things up all the time. The coffee legend, Tim Wendelboe. And you wanted to talk about the Aeropress recipe with Tim Wendelboe that we used on a brew and review. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
That was your segue. You put it in the show notes. It's time for you to take that baton and run with it.
It's only in the show notes just because I wanted to recommend it again in case you missed it. But it's kind of it was here as a placeholder for the last show.
Oh, oopsie.
No, but I think it's good because what did you think of that method?
I've been thinking, I thought about it quite a bit after we filmed the brew and review. I like the idea or the concept of not adding any more water.
Yeah, just 200 grams.
But 200 grams is a pretty small cup of coffee.
Yeah, because you're probably, if you're using 14, you're minus 30. If you double that, so you're getting 170 out at best.
Yeah.
And so if we take 170, divide by 28.35, that is not what I wanted. You're getting a 6-ounce cup.
So
almost exactly.
What I would like to experiment with, which I have not yet, but you've recommended it, you've used it, the Clever. I think it's time to go back to the Clever. I've been reading the Scott Rayo book.
I've been eyeing that Clever over there.
And Scott Rayo been recommending that there Clever. What I like about the Clever is that it's an immersion style, so hopefully you get a little bit more body, even though it's got the angled kind of shape to it. Mm-hmm. But it's also got smooth sides, so you can get the friends off the sides and down into the pool. And using the Kalita, using the ruffled filters, I'm starting to understand why Scott dislikes them so much. I think I may have mentioned that before. But getting all of the grinds along the side and top down into the slurry is challenging.
Just little pockets.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier with the smooth sides, like with the V60 and other similar brewers.
I would agree.
It's just easier to do. And so I'm like, well, if you can get that full-bodied cup from something that makes it a little bit easier, French press, Aeropress, or Clever, maybe that's the better way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's and the Clever is easy, right?
The Clever is great. I used it extensively for a long time. There are some challenges or
happened to the
considerations.
Yeah, I'm going there. What happened to it?
Oh, where is the Clever?
Yeah, I thought you still had it. And then all of a sudden, Mikey says,
sometimes,
I don't have it.
When things become of age, you send them out into the world and you expect them to return after their schooling. And
and sometimes they don't come back.
Sometimes they're forgotten at someone's house.
Friends' houses.
And you don't get it back in time being. Yeah, no, I lent it to a friend while he was up here. I saved him from the misery of... I think it was maybe Folgers Instant that mom had. His mom had
Folgers Instant, huh?
I said, no, I got a grinder,
nice. That's
a
nice.
brewer, and but it will come back.
Eventually.
It's just off experiencing the world.
I'd like to experience the Clever.
The Clever is great. So what I was going to say about the Clever though is, for some reason, I agree with you on the ruffles. I'm pointing to the brewers you can't see.
Yes, and you can't see while
the
you're
Kalita filters.
either.
What I also don't like about them is when you pre-wet them. Depending on what side, it's like that straw trick when you're at a restaurant. It like contracts and expands when the water hits it. So sometimes if you're going to pre-wet it, I'll have some ruffles that tighten up real close and others that kind of loosen up.
See,
you get this inconsistency from...
I don't have that problem. I like that they expand pretty well for me consistently.
See, for me, whatever side I start the pour on, that side expands more, and then the other ones don't expand as much because it pushed it out. You know the straw trick? When you smush up the wrapper on a straw and you slide it off and then you drop water on it and it's a snake. It expands because the water...
Nope.
I know.
I'd love to see it,
I know y'all's out there.
Yeah, if you know it,
let us know below.
If you think Mike is crazy,
straw
comment
snake
below.
Trick. Come on.
Paper,
everyone does
snake.
that in a restaurant.
Never
you have
heard of it.
4 kids and you've never played with...
They're deprived. Well, no, we normally...
you dip the straw and you put your finger on top. You just get like a straw full of water and you drop it on the snake, which is the crunch up straw wrapper, and it expands and it looks like it's alive.
No, what we do is we blow them. You know
you shoot them at each other.
Yeah, we shoot them at each other.
We did that.
That's what we do. No snakes.
My 18-month-old, he takes him a couple tries because he just inhales, and then finally he'll blow out and he'll shoot the straw wrapper at somebody. And he enjoys that.
Speaking of filters, you've experimented recently with some brown filters.
Yeah.
And you've had some challenges there.
Yeah. So I've never been a huge fan of brown filters for many reasons, except bamboo. I love the bamboo. I think they're the exception to my rule.
The bamboo filters from Blue Bottle especially are very good.
They are. You can also get them for the Bon Mac, which is, if you don't like the ruffles, the Bon Mac is not a ruffle.
It's a beehive one.
Yeah, the beehive. They have bamboo too that you can get. Yeah. I've recently was able to get some working with the Chemex, and I got the Chemex brown filters. And the thing with the brown is they say they're unbleached, so they have more impurities that you need to wash away. So you just got to be that much more diligent when pre-wetting. And so I make sure to get everything really wet, wash it down. But every cup I get, I swear it's just like a mouthful of paper. It is so strong that it makes me wonder why they continue to offer them. Like, do they not, is it just me, or do they not really realize they're selling a product that's producing cardboard coffee?
Yeah. Cardboard coffee is not good.
Because they're quite thick.
Yeah.
And they're known for that, to produce an ultra clean cup. So I think they filter a lot of the coffee, but they also then say, hey,
a mouthful of cardboard. You don't want a mouthful.
We're going to give you a little bit of cardboard here. And that's my experience, at least with some of the Chemex brown.
With that Bonavita immersion dripper, I use that for my cold brew. And, I just dump it in and let it run through.
Yeah.
I don't use it immersion style. But I haven't had a problem. I pre-wet them. They don't come up. They're not real slimy or no problems with them.
Mm-hmm. They work well.
I'm just wondering.
Maybe it's because it's not hot?
Because I was thinking the Melita does a pretty good job, the Melita filters. Maybe I could get an even better cup going with a bleached one, though. I was thinking.
Yeah, it would be worth trying. It could have to do with maybe you're pouring cold water through it, so maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, and not all of them are. I've used brown papers in the past, and fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Where I'm not sure I taste the difference. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory. But with these super thick Chemex ones, I definitely taste it. You can just smell it even. When I preheat the mug, pour the water out of the Chemex into the mug, I can just smell the paper.
The bleached ones are more expensive for the Melita as well. So I'm looking at the number 4s right now on Amazon. You can get 200 for $11.20.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 80 for $6.65.
Now,
So
the Melitas.
the Melitas,
The Melitas.
Melita,
Okay, yeah. Those ones.
yeah, those ones.
They are they've got the straight bottom, right? But the angled
You got to
sides.
fold them. Yeah, those are the ones you got to fold.
Yeah, you can get bamboo in those ones, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they are bamboo.
Because I think that's what I've got for, isn't that the same shape as the Bon Mac?
I don't have a Bon Mac.
The original blue bottle?
Yeah, I still don't have one.
You don't have one?
Uh-uh.
That's a good brewer. I still like that little brewer. So anyway, let us know what paper filters you're
What filters
using.
are you using out
Some
there?
people really, I think Mike is a big advocate, speaking of Mike earlier, right, of the sock filter. He really...
I have not had the privilege of using a sock filter or a linen filter or anything
or cloth
like that.
filter,
Cloth
something like that.
filters. Yeah, I haven't experimented with them yet.
They say some people swear they make the best cup, that they filter the best.
I think that'd be cool to be like, oh, you want give me just 1 second. You bend over, you take your shoe off, you pull your sock off, you go, you make the coffee for the customer, clean the sock off, put it back on. And you'd be like, yep, absolutely. Here you go.
There you go.
There
I think
it
that
is.
could be included in the survival guide.
What
do you do when you out in the wild? You need to filter some coffee?
got to do what you got to do.
Use your sock.
Yeah. Which is interesting because that I think is something that nobody would be doing.
Using their sock?
Using their socks.
Bear
their
Grylls
own
would be.
socks. Bear would be doing that, but no company would be doing that. And that's something that you could legitimately put on your website and be 100% truthful and honest about. Because Mustache Coffee Company finally got the sample in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
And they claim that
talked about
they're the
this.
only ones doing what it is that they're doing. And it's just not true. Look, they're doing a great job. I don't want to say they're not. But there are other coffee companies doing what Mustache is doing.
The premium single origin coffee subscription.
Sending you fresh roasted, single origin, micro lot coffee. I don't even know what to do with Mike today.
Roasted and shipped on the same
yes,
day.
pretend like it's not there. Okay. Well, we roast and ship same day as well. There are plenty of other companies that roast and ship same day.
But they're making a claim that they always do that. Like that is one expectation they set forth. Hey, if you order from us, your coffee will be shipped same day it's roasted. I think our site, or we've said within 24 hours, give it 24.
Yeah, but they only ship on Tuesday. It's not on demand.
No, okay.
If you order it on Wednesday,
you gotta wait till
Thursday,
next Tuesday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, it's not coming till Tuesday.
So they roast and ship once a week. Okay, that makes sense.
But that's okay. But this is their claim. We bring a world-class craft coffee experience to your home. There's no other there's no other roaster or coffee shop that can make that promise of quality. I mean, I guess that is vague at the end, that promise of quality. Maybe that's the puffery that is so vague you can't argue with it. I'm going to argue with it. But this is really what I think that people are interested in, Mike, is your take on this bag and this box, what they've got over here. Look, they've got this Mustache Coffee Club roast date 4/17, start drinking 4/21.
Yeah.
They tell you, hey,
interesting.
Hang on to this for 4 days.
Hey, don't drink me yet.
Don't drink me yet. They've also got like little designs on the side. They've got little quotes all over it. What do you think of that instead of having like brew instructions on the sides, brew instructions on the back? What do you think about that bag right there?
It's a sharp looking bag. I like the little brewers, the different color. The yellow stands out, though. Yellow in the color theory world gives it's anxious, anxiety.
Yeah.
It can also be cheery, but which might go. People drink coffee, cheery, upbeat. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's cool. It's cool. Initially, I'm like, there's too much. Where do I start? But then there's not, it's not too bad. Reminds me of like when you're having cereal in the morning and you want the box in front of you while you're eating, so you can just kind of
you can take a look at it,
look at everything, and be like, oh, look, there's even something on the bottom.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I had some toasted oat cereal. I had some toasted oat cereal recently.
Toasted oat? And
like Cheerios, like not brand name Cheerios, but like knockoff Cheerios. I think we got them from the food bank or something. I don't know. Whatever. That's good. That's what life is. Anyhow, the first ingredient, and there's like on the back, the whole back is dedicated this ode to toasted oats. An ode is like a song, or so they have this full song lyric on the back, ode to toasted oats. Guess what the first ingredient is?
Toast.
Corn flour. Not even toasted oats. Oats is like the third or fourth ingredient on there.
Yeah.
It's not the first or second. It's like corn flour is the first ingredient. And the second one is like corn something else. And then the third was like sugar. And then finally toasted oats. Toasted oat flour.
Yeah.
It's like there's this whole ode to toasted oats. And it's not toasted oats.
It's
made out of corn. It's made out of corn.
Yeah. So you stopped eating it, I imagine.
No, I ate it. Come on, look at me. Okay. What I'm saying is this.
What are you saying?
It's deceptive. Why are we doing this? And we just, as consumers, we've just come to expect it, I guess, or just tolerate it. Now, it's just, I don't remember whether it was free or we paid for it. So that's why I don't want to complain too hardcore.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not free. Nothing is free. Either it was donated or we purchased it. Exactly. I don't know who paid for it, but if I didn't pay for it, you would say, man, you don't have don't complain about it, that's fair. That's fair. The only reason why I'm bringing it up is as an example of marketing language.
Yeah. With you on that. I'm usually not a fan of the shiny bags.
Yeah, that's a shiny bag, all right.
But this one looks sharp. They did a good job. It's 6 ounces, 170 grams.
6 ounces.
Is that what their normal monthly
subscription you can pick?
You can pick?
You can pick 6 or 12.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's nice.
And you can even pick decaf.
I mean, I think the name is good in some respects in that it's unique and you'll remember
Mustache?
it.
Yeah.
But then I also don't necessarily want to associate mustache with the coffee. But
yeah, I think it's lame. But
orange.
They're delivering. Yeah. Orange Cactus Coffee.
Yeah. What is that? So it is what it is.
It's lame.
Are we opening this?
It's lame.
Can we smell it? Can we chew on some beans?
Yeah, you can open it right now. You might need some scissors. Oh no, it's just he's barbarian is just pulling.
Well,
it
it's
all.
got the. Oh, you smell that?
Yeah.
Hey, well, are we within the date range? Yeah.
No.
We're not.
No, the date range is tomorrow.
See, now that's a good point of conversation. Do you think people actually go, "Oh, I gotta wait till tomorrow.
I gotta wait. I can't drink this now."
Till tomorrow.
I don't know. I drink roast and drink same day, so it doesn't really matter to me.
If you're following the mustache guide,
yeah,
you wouldn't do it. There's your beans, buddy.
Mustache guidelines.
There's your beans.
How light do those look?
So this is a Columbia. Smells pretty good. You smell that?
Isn't it a Columbia Nariño, isn't it?
Huh?
It's from the same area that we get our Columbia from. That is just from a specific micro lot, I think. Just different than ours.
And I'm glad you mentioned that word, micro lot, because I have heard you talk on the DRs. Yes, I do listen to it.
You listen to the Daily Ristretto?
I try not to, but sometimes it just comes up, like, and my hands are preoccupied lifting weights or something, getting my gains, doing the thing.
Hashtag gain gang, Jay Dizzle.
And the podcast just keeps rolling. So here's the thing. Do they say that everything is, you mentioned something like along those lines, that they source only micro lots, or they never have the same coffee twice or something like that?
Yes. They make those claims.
But
is that what they mean when they say nobody else is doing that?
Well, didn't you say in this very description, after they said they don't offer the same coffee, that you guys might recognize this one? If you recognize the name, that's because we shipped some of this guy's coffee before.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So maybe it's not the same coffee.
So he's got a couple different farms.
But
maybe, it can come from the same farm as long as it's not the same coffee.
Yeah. I'm with you.
If it comes from the same farm,
it's not the same coffee.
It's
not. It's not.
Of course, it's because last year was last year, this year is this year. Of course, it's not the same coffee. Maybe that's what they mean. I think it's just transparent. It's just vague enough. I don't think it's really transparent. That's what I'm saying. I think it's vague enough so that's puffery. That's what it's called. It's puffery.
You like that word.
I do like that word.
So what I was going to say.
But what does transparency and traceability mean? There was this great article. I can't remember who brought it up. It was like in Perfect Daily Grind or something like that. Somebody talked about, there's an article about transparency. I think I put it out there on Facebook, but it just means different things to different people. That's all.
It does.
What part of the process is transparent? What the farmers get paid, what you make, where it comes from, where it was stopped, who touched it. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it.
So I want to give a shout out to the Coffee Podcast. They've recently
big shout outs.
Jesse over there has started a newer series, the roasting series. It's if you are wanting information on roasting and green bean supply, green bean. Yeah, green bean. I thought the Green Giant when I said that. Like, no, that's not right.
The Jolly Green Giant. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a wealth of information. Some great guests, Rayo,
Green Giant.
But they had somebody on. They had somebody on that I've never heard of, but it was all about the supply chain dynamics. It's episode 113, published on April 6th. They had the guest Alejandro Cadena, Cadena. But anyway, he is somebody that's got a pretty interesting story. He used to be a banker, an investment banker, and then got into coffee. And you can go listen to the podcast and hear the whole story. But he talks about...
There's a lot of bankers getting into coffee these days. I wonder if there's something up with that.
There's something going on. But he gets into how what they try to do for the farmer and what's best is, he says micro lots or coffees that are really scoring quite high are not the primary source of income for these farmers. In fact, it's very hard for them to grow it. It's hard for them to just only focus on micro lots, that there's other levels of quality that they also have to sell. And he says a good relationship that they've developed will find homes for the micro lots, but then we'll also say, okay, how can we partner you up with someone for your 85-point coffees, your 81-point coffees, the coffees that they actually have a lot more of? He said something to the effect that this constant search for only micro lots is actually not good for farmers. Because they don't have that much to offer. They still have to sell good
all the rest
coffee.
Of their coffee.
Yeah, good coffee. It's just not, you can't claim it's this one-off micro lot, new breed of, cross-contamination, pollination, type of coffee. And so I would just recommend, if you have any interest in that, and he gets into that, he also touches a little bit on what is direct trade, what is fair trade. And he's been in it, I think, 19 years, something like that, quite a while. He's developed some great relationships with farmers, and I just thought it was interesting to hear. Because someone that's sourcing green beans without actually being on the front line, those are trigger words for me. Micro lot, that'll be nice to put on the marketing. Let's say that. That sounds good.
That sounds good.
and it sounds like it's something unique, but
it might actually be, not be what's in the best interest of the farmers.
Exactly. And so if you are saying in the same breath, we work directly with farmers, we make sure that they get fair wages, and we buy their best coffee, you're trying to do right by the whole supply chain. You might not realize that only buying micro lots is not really doing what's best. That's what I kind of took away from that, and that was unique and new to me.
Well, it's part of a broader picture, because right under this conversation of transparency, it's almost like, tell us what you paid the farmer.
Yes.
Okay, for this coffee, for this one coffee, or because that doesn't necessarily mean that the farmer is doing well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have some super high rated micro lot or individual micro lot, and they got paid a lot for that, but they couldn't sell that much of it because they don't have that much of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of their coffee is not doing so well, or they don't get paid much for the rest of it. Yes, you can put on there, I am a friend to the farmer. I paid them a fair wage. Buy my coffee, but it's not taking the broader context of improving the farmer's life into account. And I just think that should be our effort, and our goal is to not necessarily, say, hey, this is the minimum amount, whatever, because that is not going to work. But you have to say, I'm going to make purchasing decisions with the best interest of the farmer and the consumer in mind.
Yeah.
I think that's what there's really no other way to guide yourself, I guess. You know what I mean? You have to partner with importers, exporters, companies that have the farmers
that have
and the
that understanding.
best, regardless of what the money is.
So Alejandro, what they try to do is match up, a roastery with a farmer and get them to buy all their different quality offerings, and use specific ones maybe for an espresso blend that is going to be mostly used in a milk-based beverage. And they can get away with using an 81 or an 82 point coffee versus something that they're offering on the brew bar, and they want that 89, 90 point, specialty offering. And he says not only that, they try to team people up for sustainability for almost as long as it works out, a lifelong relationship. And they come back next year and they buy that same person. And so the farmer knows, hey, I've got, these people that care about me. They're coming back to me. They're working with me, and they're going to buy my coffee next year, all things considered.
That's what I want. I would like to partner with 2 or 3 farms, get your own farm going. You know what I mean? Grow your own coffee. That's where I would like to be.
You say grill or grow?
Grow. Yeah, grill it too. Grill it beats.
Grill it up.
Grill it beats.
So anyway, I encourage you, check out that series. Check out that episode, and I really appreciate the work that Jesse's been doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. And that is the Coffee Podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to start choking on these dry beans.
Yeah. Yep. You just keep going right away. Keep hitting the table. Keep chomping into the microphone. It's beautiful.
I am all over the
Everybody
place.
just loves that.
Full of anxiety.
Perfect. So part of that roasting roasting series has been that they give the listener some actionable kind of items and tips and just conversations about roasting.
Practical information.
Information.
Very useful practical information.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of those practical things that roasters talk about is airflow.
Mm-hmm. Airflow. How windy is it outside today?
Very windy.
It's good to know.
So more airflow in the beginning of the roast
has a different effect. Yeah. So you're trying to get me to talk about airflow.
I am trying to get you to talk about airflow that you put in the notes. I'm trying to lob them to you, and it's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know how. Why did you put it in there if you didn't want to tell the people
I want to
about
talk about it.
Well, then why don't you talk about it?
Because I was just pausing to make sure you're done talking. So airflow. Yeah, I just wanted to discuss some of the things that I've experimented with.
Okay, good.
Regarding airflow. I know, see, that's it. Get it out of your system so I can talk. One of the things, you want adequate airflow when you're roasting for many reasons, but there's a few ways you can test it. One primary way that I think is the easiest, but something that I've done traditionally is this. Started generally with a low airflow setting, and then throughout the roast, slowly increased it because I subscribe to generally the rail method of trying to have a rate of rise decline throughout the roast. And one way you can do that is increasing airflow and lowering your heat setting as you go. Now, you don't always have to increase airflow. You can just lower your heat setting or a combination of the both. But something that I think I've heard, even, don't quote me, but I think Mr. Rayo has mentioned, and some other bullet users have experimented with, is a little bit higher airflow in the beginning and then lowering it later on. And they claim that that's actually had a reverse effect, meaning more airflow up front to a point actually accelerates the roast, introduces more heat into the system than actually having a low airflow. You're not moving heat out, you're actually moving more heat in, and it's more efficient. Whereas later on in the roast, if you have a high airflow setting, you are going to be pulling heat off of the beans. So it almost has a reverse effect. A little bit more airflow up front increases the heat, accelerates the roast, and a little bit more airflow at the end actually slows the roast. You kind of pull heat out. So that's what I've been experimenting with our profiles. And one thing I have noticed is an improvement in the clarity of the coffee, meaning there's a little bit less of the roasty properties that a roaster will impart. It seems that a little higher airflow up front, I think, to me, if I were to guess why it's working, is because it's creating more evaporation.
Perfect.
It's pulling the moisture out of the system and allowing the beans to absorb more endothermic, more heat. And I think it's also cutting down if you have a little bit of a roastiness, which is something that is common, or that Mr. Rayo says specifically about electric roasters. He thinks that they impart more of a roasty flavor than he likes. And this might be one way to help combat that. And I've noticed an improvement, and so have many other bullet users. So mess around with airflow. Give it a try. See what you think. Now, to test, what a lot of roasters will do to make sure they have a good amount of airflow is you just have to experiment with it, but you can do the lighter test. What the lighter test is where you basically you take out your tryer, if you have one, while it's roasting in the middle of a roast, and you hold up vertically underneath the tryer a little lighter and ignite it, light the flame, and the flame should be sucked into the tryer. It should bend into the tryer, but it should not extinguish it. It should not go out. If it goes out, you probably got too much airflow. If it doesn't bend into the tryer, you've got too little airflow. So you want like a nice curved flame that stays lit.
Nice.
You follow that?
No, I didn't, but I'm sure somebody out there did.
So that's one way, and I've done that a few times, and I've noticed sometimes, if it's too high, it will just go out immediately. There's too much airflow, and other times there's too little. So use that, I think, as a general guide to know if you're in the right, ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
But that's airflow. So
perfect.
Experiment with it, and try and see what you can do. One thing, last tip that I've heard from some experts is not to adjust airflow too close to first crack. You don't want to mess with things. You want to keep kind of the momentum you've got going from all the changes and settings you've already done. If you start messing with airflow within 30 seconds of kind of the onset of first crack, it just, I don't know, it can have a greater effect and impact than what you anticipate. So if you're struggling with a crash at first crack, try not messing with airflow and see if that helps you at all. Even keep a constant airflow through the whole roast. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Now, is there, with roasting, just like with brewing, don't you want to experiment with one kind of element
variable.
or one variable at a time?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Is that still something that you're doing? And you're going to go through some beans.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be some trial and error.
You got to just try. And if you can only adjust one thing and then you cup it and you're like, okay, taste the difference, everything else was the same, but airflow, yes, then that helps you.
And if you buy a new roaster and you go through one roast and it didn't quite turn out the way you want, don't get discouraged. Get back in there. Get back in there.
Yep.
Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Doesn't matter what it is. Pick a variable. Troubleshoot it. Say, okay,
work it.
Whatever it might be. If the beans were scorched, you had too much heat up in the beginning, so keep everything the same, lower the heat. If the roast went too long, you didn't maybe have enough heat, enough energy in the beginning. So just adjust the heat. But pick one variable and adjust that, and then go from there. And once you realize you're at a limitation, you've adjusted the heat up and down as much as you can, that you think this is the best spot, then you can move on to airflow, you can move on to drum speed, you can move on to charge temperature, all these different other factors.
Now, there's another thing that you want to maybe dial in one at a time or stay encouraged about, and that is your Flair espresso machine. You've been using it for the past couple weeks. You've been getting some fantastic active crema on it, sometimes a little bit too much. Tell us a little bit more about how you're doing that and how you're liking the Flair, because I know that there's a lot of you guys out there want to know, is the Flair worth my money? I think it's like $120, $150, something along those lines.
I think the classic is about $150 and the signature is like $200.
Okay, so a couple $100, hand pressed, lever. It looks cool. It feels cool. We did a little video on it. Maybe I'll share that in the show notes as well. But some folks have bought it, still thinking about it, and trying to dial it in and get a good espresso experience out of it. How are you doing that?
So I've really enjoyed it. The longer I've had time with it, the more I've liked it. You know, like sometimes you have a fascination, a fixation.
Yeah.
Either one, whatever, with a product, and then over time you're like, I just don't really use it. I'm not drawn to it.
Like the Chemex.
Is that the Chemex for you?
Yeah, it's the Chemex for everyone. It's the Chemex for everyone. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I just want to get my hands all over it. And then you get it, and then you brew it, and you're like, I'm not going to use the Chemex.
I don't. Not everyone. I think Ghost out there loves his Chemex.
Okay, not everybody thinks Ghost.
Well, he knows that
Ghost will love him some Chemex.
And I will admit, his Monsoon Malabar needs the Chemex.
Tastes better on the Chemex. I don't know what it is. I don't know what witchcraft and he's using down there.
He brews it for the use on the Chemex.
But it's
for the use on the Chemex.
It's absolutely correct.
He roasts it for the brewing on the Chemex. Yeah. Okay. So, what were we saying? Oh, yeah.
Flair.
So what I've been doing lately is I've dialed it back because I do think it's a single shot, essentially, and you can get up to like 17, 18 grams in the portafilter, which I think is a little bit much for the 60 mils.
I want 7 grams in, 25 grams out.
I just want an American. I hate this. Yeah. You're talking about the Conan video.
I'm talking about the Conan video.
Yeah. We had somebody on Instagram share us a couple Conan videos of him experiencing specialty coffee, and I don't know. They're comical. If funny. Maybe you like Conan. Did you watch the one when he went to Italy and had espresso?
Yeah,
and he went nuts.
Yeah, I don't care much for his humor.
I don't watch him regularly, but I thought of you being highly caffeinated.
Yeah,
like if we get that music video out, we need Conan.
Yeah, we need Conan to do it.
So I've dialed it back. I do now 14 grams and in the portafilter, and I try to time it. So, I do time it, but I try to shoot for a pre-infusion of about 7 seconds, and then I ramp it up, and so I usually get the first drops coming out right around 10 seconds, and I finish the pull at right around 30, 33 seconds. And
so you go 17 grams of water in the Flair. Is that what you said?
No,
17 grams
14,
of coffee. 14, sorry.
Yeah,
14 grams of coffee. And then how much water do you put in?
I just fill to the line, which I think is 60 milliliters.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it's not designed to adjust.
You're filling to the line.
Fill to the line. Stick to the line.
And then you're giving it some pressure to pre-infuse.
Just a little light pressure.
Just a light pressure for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you're adding an additional, what is it? Whatever makes up to 30. What is that? 23 seconds. I see.
26
I can do math.
Total.
26 additional seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not, after that point, you're not doing another 30. You're just doing 26 additional as you're levering
7
down.
plus 26. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm not very good with math. I think the people know that. The people understand that.
The people, they can't believe Jamaica.
Look, here's the deal. Your teacher told you when you were a kid that you would never carry a calculator with you everywhere you go.
You're not going to have a calculator.
That teacher was wrong. That teacher was wrong. I have a calculator with me everywhere I go. If I need math done, I ask Siri.
You don't even have to. Yeah, you could just.
It's that simple.
Speak it.
It's that simple. I use words. Computers do math for me.
There you go.
That's it.
So that's what I find. I've been making. What I like to do is I set up 2. I've got 2 of the brew heads setups. And so I pack them both, get them ready, and I pull one right after the other into that sweet St. Anthony's plum bottom snifter.
Plum bottom.
And so I get a double shot, and I get, I think the Crema is wonderful. Now, Flair has been putting out some videos and posts about Crema, and they're talking about how fresh it is and how soon you grind relative to when you make the shot, that it matters.
Yeah.
And they have some comparisons.
Yeah.
You get these super, super way over the top, too much Crema shots if you're using way too active coffee, ground fresh. But then they had one where it like sat for 24 hours and there was no Crema because it was pre-ground too soon. So that's a big factor. The thing that I believe is probably the most important is the grinder. I really just more and more so really like the Lido 3. I think it does a great job.
Yeah.
I can get a nice, consistent espresso grind. So if you're finding trouble even at your lowest settings on your grinder, you maybe got it.
Might not be low enough.
You might just not have a grinder that can crank out espresso
Fine grind.
Yeah, enough quality, a high quality enough grind. It's where I would start if you're trying everything and you're just not getting it. I think that was our one reservation. Yes, $200 for the Flair, but you still need a grinder, right? So keep that in mind.
And that is, I think that's the thing with espresso. Like when I say, I did 600 on the Breville Barista Express, that is still fairly inexpensive. When there's a lot of other recommendations out there, $1,000, $1,200 for the espresso machine itself.
Yeah.
Then you still need a grinder.
You still need the grinder.
You still need a grinder, and you're going to spend $350, I think, for this. Was it the SETI?
The SETI 270 or whatever.
The SETI 270. I don't know how much.
I think people really like that one.
That is kind of the one that people say you need to use this one at home. If you're trying to get espresso at home, trying to get that cafe experience at home, you use the Baratza SETI 270, and it's about $380.
Yeah, I think people really like it for both filter and espresso at home. So, yeah. But anyway, I really love the Flair. I think the build quality is awesome. I enjoy the shots thoroughly, and it's fun when I have people come over like, "What is this?" I'm like, let's make a shot.
Let's make a shot.
It's a cool little device.
What did you think of the shot that I pulled for you off the Breville?
Wonderful
Today.
We just had a shot of the Honduras.
The Hondo.
As you've been talking it up, and I will say it was very good.
Yeah.
Very good
I'm
shot.
a junkie. I'm a Hondo junkie right now.
It is. It's cool. I was thinking your application that you mentioned about just taking a shot, hitting the gym, I think that's so cool. If I had an espresso machine, I would probably do that more often. Like when because there is a little bit of setup and teardown with the Flair.
Much. Oh, with the Flair. Okay.
So I'm saying, for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to go work out. I don't want to mess with it, clean it, and do all that. Something like the Breville, just it's quick and easy.
Unless you're steaming milk.
Yeah.
It's like a minute.
Pretty quick. It heats up real fast.
It heats up real fast. You get a single, you pull a single for hot water, heat up the portafilter.
Oh, yeah.
You heat that up, you rinse it, get it going, and then right now I've got the Hondo so dialed in, I have the perfect amount that goes in. Like it's 17 grams exactly.
Yeah.
And I press it, but I don't have to mess with it, don't have to level it, or I don't have to do anything with it. It's just I've got the perfect amount, the perfect technique, just killer.
Just making it happen.
And it's fast. And the Mrs. today, she was leaving and she's like, I want some coffee. And it's like, well, I'll make you some coffee. She's like, I'm leaving in 10 minutes. I'm like, I'll make you espresso. Done deal.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Espresso.
I don't even need.
That's what it means, right?
No.
Fast.
No.
They made fun of him in the going in video.
No, it doesn't.
The know-it-all was like, yeah, that's espresso. It means you're in and out. Like, no.
No.
It's not Italian for fast.
No. No.
The last thing I was going to say about the Flair is also, you don't have to crank on it. So when you get it dialed in and you start pulling some really good shots, it takes just, I don't know. I can't even describe, but it's not hard. It's a good amount of force, a good amount of resistance, but it's not.
It shouldn't be a workout.
It's not strenuous.
You shouldn't be flexing triceps.
Right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's that. So
that's it.
That's it. What else we got? So we're gonna probably taste this at some point.
Yeah, but not on this. This podcast was over when you said, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention the other bag that's been sitting there the whole time.
Oh, I see.
And so I was saying we'll probably taste this.
That's the mustache. Mike is holding the mustache.
Yes, the mustache. But we also got another gift.
The neat coffee. Every detail matters. Yeah, we're going to do a brew and review with that as well.
So that was a gift as well. And so look forward to a brew and review coming from that. That's cool. I like this. A simple bag, a couple stickers, close to our heart.
Yep, like that with a matte black finish.
Yeah, it's sweet. Yeah. But that's it. You already talked about these?
I talked about them on the Daily Ristretto. I don't know if anybody can see them. But
yeah.
Do you want to keep going? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm just making sure we are giving props where props are due.
Oh, yeah.
If that's
we're
needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm going to cut this out.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
You just had them on the table, so I thought maybe.
Well, I wasn't sure. And then we're at 45 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like.
We got 15 more.
Okay.
No, I'm good. I'm just teasing. Cut this all out.
I'll cut this all out.
You got to get back in the front seat. You're sitting in the back too much.
The people have been asking for more Mike Kincaid.
No, they don't
give
want.
them more Mike Kincaid.
These are sweet, though. These are really cool.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, Mike, and thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, you are a real trooper. As always, you can find the show notes at orangecactuscoffee.com/episode 115, because this was episode 115. If you've got questions, comments, or just want to hit us up, please reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you want to. We are there, and we will catch you next time.